Straight ahead on 12 News Weekend, a restaurant on four wheels.
It's really fun and exciting to see the people who congregate around food trucks.
It's a concept that could soon make its way to Brooklyn Park. Then, is it a lake or a meadow? What New Hope residents say about Meadow Lake. But first, an up-close look at homelessness through the eyes of someone who's dealing with it. 12 News Weekend starts right now. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. Homelessness is something you don't typically see in the suburbs.
But that doesn't mean it isn't out there. According to Wilder Research, more than 4,000 people are homeless in Hennepin County. It's a number that has increased since the official end of the recession in 2009. A Maple Grove man is part of the growing trend. He's been living out of his car for the past year. Reporter Sonia Goins has his story.
Jonathan is used to spending a lot of time on his feet.
I had nowhere to go because I was unemployed.
He's been homeless for more than a year.
Like last fall, I would go back and forth a little bit between Maple Grove and Plymouth.
Jonathan didn't want to show his face or use his whole name, but he did want to share his story.
When I had to move out of the house, I had not yet found a job.
This is where he calls home now.
Yeah, welcome to my home. It's like my oasis, I guess. That I can park somewhere and I can lay down my car, and people tend to just think it's just a car that's parked there.
Jonathan's car is packed full of necessities.
Soap and tissues and shaving cream and brushes. 80% of my diet comes from food shelves. Anything electronics like chargers, batteries I keep in here.
He likes to park his car in Maple Grove because that's where his part-time job is located.
Like the Wayside Rest, a McDonald's restaurant, the library, community center, a park sometimes.
But living in his car is challenging.
I go to like small business and just be there for like one or two very limited things, like wash my hair, brush my teeth, and get out of there. I've got a big can of Lysol, which was given to me by some food shelf, and I'll spray my feet down.
He says it's easy to hide homelessness in the suburbs, but it exists.
It's not obvious to people. We kind of blend in for the most part. So they're not aware of it.
Jonathan says going to a shelter in the cities is not an option for many homeless people.
So some people just prefer to stay out in their car, out in the suburbs where it's nicer and there's less crime.
Although living in his car is not ideal, Jonathan is optimistic.
I see it as a blessing.
He says he's hoping to close the door on homelessness in the near future.
That was Sonia Goins reporting. There are currently no homeless shelters in the Northwest Metro. The closest one is in Anoka, and that location only has 60 beds. Meanwhile, the first suburban homeless shelter for youth remains on track to open before the end of the year. Brooklyn Park recently approved building a shelter on city-owned land near 76th Avenue and West Broadway. It would provide room for up to 12 young people.
The city of New Hope helped break ground on a new apartment building. Compass Point is located at the corner of 62nd and West Broadway. It will include a 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units housing about 190 residents. The building will include higher-end features, but will also help fill a need for affordable housing.
Really top-line appliances, countertops, flooring, everything. So it will be essentially a market rate building at more affordable prices.
It's meant to be affordable. With some federal aid, that's why they were able to build that. People were nervous that it was going to be low-income housing. They were going to attract some people that they didn't want in the neighborhood.
4 of the units will be reserved for families experiencing long-term homelessness. Rents will range from $700 to just over $1,000. It will be ready to move in next July. The Brooklyn Park City Council has approved a zoning change to allow a new housing development in the northern part of the city. The Oaks of Oxbow project calls for 37 single-family homes just north of the Target campus. The homes would range in price from $350,000 to $575,000.
In our week in review, nurses at North Memorial Medical Center picketed near the hospital to raise concerns about possible staffing changes. Nurses say there's a proposal to increase the number of patients in their care from 3 to 4 currently to 5 patients in the future. Nurses say North Memorial management also wants to downsize the number of nurse aides. They say an increased workload would potentially put patients at risk. Dozens of residents packed a Brooklyn Center hearing to raise concerns about a proposed Xcel Energy rate increase. Xcel wants state approval to raise rates by about $120 over a 2-year period. The utility company says the increase is necessary to offset the cost of providing energy that's more environmentally friendly. And the Mississippi River crested Thursday evening in the Twin Cities before starting to recede. The river is currently in major flood stage. You can see the effect of the high water at Brooklyn Park's River Park. The river reached a level of just over 20 feet, the 7th highest on record. During his visit to Minneapolis, President Obama pledged the federal government's help in flood recovery efforts. From one water issue now to a green mucky lake problem.
Some New Hope residents say Meadow Lake is more meadow than lake. 12 News reporter Carissa Wyatt explains more.
Well, it's kind of scummy, isn't it?
It may be one of Minnesota's 10,000 lakes, but New Hope's Meadow Lake isn't exactly the best visual example of the state's famous sky blue waters.
We've been here for about 22 years, and it began getting cloudier and more sick over that amount of time. It will take a long time to get it restored.
Neighbors tell us that there's an ongoing joke in the neighborhood. They like to say that the lake's actually called Meadow Lake because in the summer, it's just as green as a meadow. A group of neighbors living along the lake got fed up. They formed the Meadow Lake Watershed Association to improve the water quality.
It's always had a lot of algae in it in the summertime.
Residents are planting specific plants to slow soil erosion in what they're calling the Adopt a Plot program.
The idea with native plants is that they put down deeper roots and help hold the soil better than many of the invasives do.
These volunteers know it's not an easy problem to solve. Several factors are affecting the lake.
Leaves and grass clippings and things that people let get in the street all wind up in the lake.
It's also the runoff from the lawns that contributes to the pollution and the sickness of it.
But neighbors are committed to restoring the lake and beautifying the shoreline.
We do hope to improve water quality anyway by instituting good practices.
We have a wonderful neighborhood, and it's exciting to get to know our neighbors and to cooperate together in this kind of venture. Feels good.
In New Hope, Carissa Wyatt, 12 News.
The city of New Hope provided $5,000 from its storm water fund to pay for plants and other materials for the project. Coming up on 12 News Weekend, Brooklyn Park may soon have some new dining options, and they're different from what the city has ever had before.
Then later in sports, local golfers compete at the Minnesota Golf Association Players Championship.
But first, cooler and drier on Monday, a much-needed relief from the weekend rain. A new restaurant opening in Brooklyn Park literally comes with all the bells and whistles. The train-themed Broadway pizza franchise is open near 85th Avenue and Highway 252. MGM Liquor had tried to move into this location, but was voted down by the Brooklyn Park City Council due to concern about an oversaturation of liquor stores. There may be another new dining option coming to Brooklyn Park.
The City Council gave preliminary approval to a plan that would allow food trucks in certain parts of the city.
Nice to have like one central location.
Downtown Minneapolis is known for its hustle and bustle. And in the summer,
I'm never in the Skyway in the summer.
foot traffic migrates from the skyways
I prefer to be outside.
to the city streets.
And it's nice to be able to kind of come outside and have a variety of things lined up.
It comes with an egg, a fried egg on top.
He's referring to the line of food trucks parked along Marquette Avenue.
You guys have any questions?
Food trucks such as Chef Shack,
This is one of the oldest food trucks in the city. We've been around for about 8 years.
which exist primarily to feed the hungry workers of corporate America.
It's fast, it's quick, but also there's like this hidden foodie culture with it.
$7, please.
Soon, these food options may be making their way to Brooklyn Park.
And if you ever read the paper or follow the news, food trucks are like the big cool thing now.
Monday night, the Brooklyn Park City Council gave preliminary approval to allow food trucks in the city limits.
Target sort of drove it a little bit for us because they wanted to be able to have an event from time to time where they would have food trucks that would come and park on Target Parkway, which is actually a private road.
However, Brooklyn Park food trucks would be relegated to business areas and commercial districts because the city doesn't have Minneapolis-style foot traffic.
So 2 bites, no egg?
That's if, of course, food trucks want to come to Brooklyn Park.
Depends on if there would be a market there.
Laura Weering says city dwellers shouldn't have all the fun.
The more the merrier. Honestly, expand it, that's great.
Well, food trucks would need permission from the property owners to set up shop. They would be required to park 100 feet away from the main entrances to existing businesses. The City Council is expected to pass the ordinance change on July 7th. Well, will they float their boat?
Some Robbinsdale students put their big project to a big test. But first, Osseo and Brooklyn Park meet up in American Legion Baseball. That's coming up in sports with Jay Wilcox.
Welcome back. Jay Wilcox joins us now with sports, and there's a lot of wet golf courses out there, but still some important golf being played where they can play.
Yeah, and it's interesting to watch some of these players too. You know, you hear about high school and college golfers, but a lot of them keep on playing pretty high level after that too. Though it's a short season with our climate, there's a pretty strong golf scene around the Twin Cities. The 36th Minnesota Golf Association Players Championship Tournament is a 3-day match play event. 64 players started the event, whittled down to 16 to start play on day 2, and includes Christian Klein playing on his home course at Woodhill Country Club. Klein is matched up against veteran Jim Lehman. Lehman with a nice putt from just off the green at 14. The brother of Minnesota Golf Hall of Famer Tom Lehman halves the hole and goes on to beat Klein 4-3. Playing a group behind Lehman and Klein, this is Rush Creek's Troy Johnson. The Osseo High School graduate matched up against Jesse Bull of Golden Valley Country Club. Bull makes this putt on 15 to have the hole. And on 16, Johnson with a chance to go 2 up, but he tries for a birdie putt, and he leaves it just short, remains 1 up with 2 holes to play in this one. Bull wins the 17th hole, and so it comes to 18, and he'll make a putt to win the hole and take the match 1 up. Bull lost, though, to Lehman in the next round. Trent Peterson of Valleywood won the tournament. Osseo and Park Center have a lot of great baseball matchups in the high school season and also in summer play. They met up in American Legion play in Osseo Wednesday. It's 1-1 in the third when Osseo's John Ludwig hits a sharp grounder past third base. Brett Meyer scores on the play. Osseo goes up 2-1. Same inning, and Ben Christofferson bounces one up the middle to bring Ludwig home. Christofferson's RBI single makes it 3-1 Osseo through 3 innings. In the 5th, Brooklyn Park, that's what they're called in the summer, Kyle Schnobrick smashes it down the third base line. Danny Savanich and Brandon Budnick score on the play. The Knights tie it up 3-3. It's a double for Schnobrick. In the bottom of the 5th, Osseo goes back in front. Joe Dayer smacks a hit to right. One scores Haven Williams and Rudy Alexander. A key hit for Osseo. They go in front 5-3. They add another as Justin Clark's well-placed bouncer just gets through the infield. A run scores to make it 6-3. And a nice double play in the 6th helps preserve the lead as Osseo wins this one 6-3. Wayzata Post 118 got the bats going early this week in South Hennepin League play. Wayzata at home to face Giant Valley of Minneapolis. Wayzata's on fire with the bats early. Brendan Brody drops a hit that short hopped here by the right fielder. Christian Linhart scores, and it's 1-0 in the first. Then up 3-0 later in the inning, Tyler Brocky delivers a hit to right center. Connor Trigstead and Nick Olmanson score. It's 5-0 Wayzata. The barrage continues in the inning. Thomas Nettleton slaps a hit up the middle. Hans Alwyn and Brocky score to make it 7-0. They get one more to go up 8-0 after a half inning. And they play some good defense behind pitcher Michael Bolke, too. Second baseman Alwyn starts a crisp 4-6-3 double play here to end the bottom of the first as their great start continues. Bolke has some fun of his own in the third inning while Giant Valley doesn't like it too much. Jesse Retzlaff goes down swinging. That's followed by Mitch Kotrich. And then Peter Webster as Bolke fans the side to keep it an 8-0 lead for Wayzata. In the fourth, already with a 10-0 lead, Alwyn drops a single into left. Eric Stolt hustles around to score easily to make it 11-0 in favor of Wayzata. Kyle Haskamp delivers an RBI single later as Wayzata cruises to a 13-2 win in 5 innings. Also, Hopkins meeting Eden Prairie in Legion play, and this one's a pitcher's duel. Logan Ottman for Hopkins gets some defensive help. Third baseman Jeremy Burton steps on the bag, fires to first to get a double play. Corey Binger is just as good, and watch this catch and right. Burton's sinking liner is hauled in by a diving Dan Lotes. A great catch, and it stays 0-0. Great timing for EP here. Shortstop Josh Miller fields it, steps on the bag, fires to first, and it's 0-0 through 6 innings. Ottman continues to pitch well, getting a called third strike on Jack Clays in the 8th inning. Ottman works 8 scoreless innings for the Flyers. Burton makes another good play in the 10th behind reliever Robert Dworsky to get the out here. This game is called in the 11th inning because of a curfew. That means the lights shut off and it ends in a 0-0 tie. Well, the pitchers love that game, that's for sure.
I know, that was a pretty good game.
That's right.
Thanks, Jay.
You bet.
Coming up, the moment of boating truth for some Robbinsdale students.
Will it sink or row gently down the stream? We'll find out next. For many Minnesotans, summer is about getting out on the lake.
Students in the Highview Alternative program got to do just that, but before students could go, first they had to build their own boat.
We were looking for a project to bring into the wood shop down here.
Summer school is sometimes about learning outside the box.
We were talking about maybe doing birdhouses or bird feeders.
But birdhouses just wouldn't do for students in the Highview Alternative program.
An active, real-world project has really been really good for them.
Instead, their teacher wanted them to use math to build a canoe.
To get some hands-on measuring, applied math. There's a little applied geometry and where you put the seats.
So they partnered with urban boat builders to build 3 17-foot canoes in 3 weeks.
I know they're going to float, but we got to prove to the students that they're going to float.
And on the last day,
this is our boat.
Students met at French Regional Park with boats in tow.
Some of you in the beginning were like, I have to be here, I don't want to be here. It's summer, this is summer school. Yes, there was some complaining there, but I saw you all get totally into it, and you made a beautiful boat.
And then students took a different kind of test, a test to see if the boats really would float.
Here we go. Have fun.
Some students have never been in a canoe
I was
before,
a little scared, to be honest with you. I wasn't sure it was gonna float.
much less build one themselves.
I've never done any woodworking before, and like that is awesome. Like I really want to start doing this some more. Like this has opened up a lot for me.
There's actually algebra in there. Didn't know that.
There's some solid skills like learning math and integrating math with hands-on practices, but really it's more about the teamwork and the cooperation and the communication and the sense of accomplishment, sense of pride that they built something, turned a pile of lumber into a boat that floats and they can take out on the water.
There were a few spills on this windy day, but overall,
I can't believe I built something that could, float and go.
there's a sense of pride in building a canoe and floating it too.
How often do you get to build a wooden canoe?
And instructors are currently checking into somehow selling the boats to raise money to do this project again next year. They had a great time out there.
What a cool story.
Good to see. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Bye.